Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I think it's okay. Just a second. Okay. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first activity of this year of Balkan Table Tennis Union. You know, we haven't been able to have an organization for a long time. And I'm Samet Polat, Balkan Table Tennis Union's Development Committee Chair and Webinar Officer of this webinar series. And firstly, I'd like to thank our Executive Board for their strong support. And it's really impressive to see you here with us for this evening for this webinar. And as you know, today we will have a webinar about how to prevent injuries in table tennis. And we have a very young, very successful lecturer today. Our lecturer is Mr. Svetozar Stoyanov from Bulgaria. He is a former national table tennis player and a professional physiotherapist. He is living in Sofia. He has also worked with Bulgarian gymnastics national team, and he has an office in Sofia called Office Therapy. He has graduated from Sofia National Sports Academy too. And he's a very good friend of mine. I hope this work will contribute to all of us, and I wish good luck to every single participant. And I'd like to add a few notes. Please pay attention to these. Just a second. The sessions will be recorded, and the record will be shared with all participants. We will send you a link, and you will be able to get presentations or records. Therefore, only just concentrate, pay attention on the lecture. Secondly, the questions will be sent after seminar. So please wait until our lecture and the lesson, or write to chat part, and I will moderate question and answer part. I will make a list and ask your questions to lecturer after the lesson. And please pin the camera of our lecturer, Mr. Stoyanov, and please turn off your camera and microphone. So, Svetozar, kardeşim, the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening.
Just 1 second, please.
Hello. Do you hear me well?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, so now I need to share my screen, right?
Maybe make a little introduction, greeting everyone.
Yeah, okay. So, hello, my name is Svetozar, as Samet Polat tell. So I want to say a big thank you for the Balkan Table Tennis Union Development Chair and webinar director Samet Polat for inviting me. It's a real pleasure for me to be a lecturer in this webinar. So I want to say that, do you hear me well, actually? Is everything all right? You see me okay? Hope everything is okay. So yeah, I will share my screen now. And just a second. Oops. Sorry.
It's okay now.
Okay. So. Oops. Is everything all right now?
Yeah, full screen.
Full screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today I'm going to present how to prevent injuries in table tennis, and our favorite sport, right? So thank you for the presenting. Samet Polat presented me very well, and I want to tell you guys that today's presentation will be in three main parts. The first part will be the injuries in table tennis. The second part will be how to prevent them. And the third part actually will be the part how an athlete should recover for his better performance and better successful during the competitions. Okay. So, okay. The most common injuries in table tennis, they are separately on some parts. So we have acute injuries that are happen immediately during the competition or the practice. And we actually, it's difficult to prevent them because they happened immediately, as I said, and it's because of the inertia and during some, how to say, some forces. For example, in table tennis, we have a ball that we are moving around it. We cannot predict where to move. Sometimes the ball push really hard and we can't control it. So we need to make some different movement. And sometimes these movements are the movement that cause the injury. So we have the first part will be I talk about it will be the sprains. So the sprains are tears to the ligaments that join the ends of the bones together. The ankles, the knees, and wrists are commonly affected by it. Okay, so yes. The second part are the strains of the injuries. The strains are the pulled muscles, as somebody can hear, or the tears between the tendon and the muscle. So the tissue that attach to the muscles to the bones. And yeah, okay, so okay. It's everything all right, I hope so, during the presentation. Okay. So, and the third one, injuries are the overuse. These injuries we really can prevent because they're manageable by the loading during the activities. This is something we can control. We can control also if an athlete today don't feel good, he or she didn't sleep well. We can decrease the tempo of the practice to prevent actually the injury that it could happen in the meantime.
Svetozar Stoyanov.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, okay. Is everything all right? You see the screen correctly? Yes. Okay, hope everything is all right. Okay, something really, really important that I need you to remember is that the pain is a signal from the body that says slow down, I can support it. It means that when somebody feel pain during the activities, I mean, that is not acute injury, it's just injury during some of the practice. I mean, nobody fell down or he hit somewhere. I mean, pain just, for example, doing a normal backhand or top forehand topspin. And some of the athletes feels pain. So this means that something happened, he overtrained it or he didn't warm up well. And it's important to stay contact with the coach, that to tell him, hey coach, I today don't feel okay, can we decrease the tempo for this practice, even if the practice should be on a very high tempo, or it needs a really hard and good strength, you know. Yes, so actually for the technique in table tennis, it's very important um, to understand the biomechanics of the sport and to use the, I mean, during the strokes, the athletes needs to be very relaxed. Just they don't need to feel that some of them are fighting with the ball. It's really hard and many power needs to be created for the stroke. No, it needs to take the good control and good feeling during the ball with less power. Okay, so now we are going to talk about some of the injuries in the table tennis. Okay, the first injury we will going to talk are the ankle injuries. It's a very common it's a very common injury in table tennis. I'm going to show you a video in just a second. So the most common is on the inversion sprain. So it means that the foot, it's the athlete step on the foot laterally, and so it has some inversion of the ankle, and usually after some kind of the injury, the athlete fell down and feel a lot of pain and decreased range of motion sometimes during this type of injury. The pain also can experience, the athlete also can experience edema, which is yeah, you know. Okay, the ankle joint in the body is the second most likely to be injured in sports. Yes, yeah, it's a very common injury. It's representing approximately 85% of the ankle sprains. The poor rehabilitation here can cause many injuries in future. So when somebody has experienced an ankle sprain, he or she needs to take a good look, to consult a doctor or physiotherapist to make a strong rehabilitation, which can prevent future injuries in this area. Yeah, okay, here we have 3 grades during the ankle injury. So the first one is little swelling and tenderness with little impact on function. The second one is a little bit serious swelling, pain, reduced proprioception and range of motion, and the range of motion is decreased, and also there is some instability in the ankle. And the third part is where we have a complete rupture, large swelling. The rupture is most of the time on the ligaments. So in the complete rupture, there will be need a surgeon who has to make an operation to connect again the ligaments. And after this, there will be also need really strong rehabilitation to recover the athletes and to become better during the next competition and to start competing and training again. Yeah, okay, here as I show you. Here is an inversion part and here is the eversion part. There is two types, as you see here. First, the fifth I forgot the word, sorry. Here is on the lateral side and here is on the medial side of the foot, which is first connected to the ground. So here I'm going to show you an acute injury. And dinkning, as you see here, the ankle. Everyone remember this situation, I think. Here, this type of injury is really hard to be prevented because we are moving our body after the ball, and you know what, when you feel uncomfortable and you can't control the point, sometimes you have to go out from the balance, and actually the ball pushed Dinkning near to the body, so she felt on the right foot and actually she injured. But at this time she became a world champion, so sometimes you need to finish the match. It doesn't matter what kind of injury you have. Also, you know, this was the final in 2017, and yes, I'm going to show you one more injury here. Here, as you see, this is something really hard to control and to prevent, because we have some other forces that we need to control in our sport. Yeah, another type of injury is the calf strain. This muscle is a bilateral muscle who is between the knee and the ankle. And calf strain is a common muscle injury, and if it's not managed appropriately, there is a risk also again of re-injury and also prolonged recovery. This type of injury, people also need to consult a physiotherapist and also doctor to understand what is the actually the main part and what to heal. The patient here also feels tenderness when it's touched in the area of the calf where is the strain. If it's in the second or third grade, they can feel also a swelling. Stretching of the muscle will reproduce pain, and pain also is resisted to when the patient is doing plantar flexion. The rehabilitation here is also very important. Part because because the athlete could feel fear from stepping on the lower limb during some session during practice, and this fear and that he cannot feel the lower limb stronger, and he or she cannot trust the lower limb, it will be really bad for the feeling of the patient, and he cannot practice for 80, 90 or 100% during the practice. Here I'm showing you also the grades of the calf strain, and when some of the athletes experience this calf sprain, there is really here I'm showing you that the days how to recover and how long it needs to recover. For example, it depends what the grade is. So for the first grade, they have to rehab or being away from the sport for 10 or 12 days. For the second part, as you see, between 16 and 21. In the third part, when we have a complete rupture, they will be needing operation from a surgeon, and the recovery it's going to take around 6 months. It's a really tough injury, so but sometimes it happens. No one is prevented. So here I'm showing you one exercise that is really good to increase the mobility and the proprioception of the lower limb between the practice. Before the practice, it's a warming up exercise, and it's really good to prevent the flexibility of the ankle joints and also knee and the hip. Very important, you all know that the shoes should be with excellent grip, and they will be specifically for table tennis because we have very lateral movement during the play. So the shoe should not be with high heel. And actually that's it for the ankle. Now we are moving to the knee injuries, and they're also very similar to the ankle sprains. We have here, I'm showing you the most, the two ligaments that are connected, the knee, the tibia and the femur. So the lateral collateral ligament is the one who also most of the time injured during some varus movement, and medial collateral ligament is the one who is injured during some valgus movement. In the knee joint, there is also good that if somebody has experienced some knee injury, they need also to make consultation with doctor or physical therapist to understand what is the type of the injury. So to make a plan how to prevent it, but for the prevention, we will talk a bit later. We have another one injury in the knee joints, and it's also a hamstring strain. This muscle connects the thigh and the knee, and it's also biarthrodial. So here I'm going to show you the 3 grades again, and what to explain, what to wait for, when something happens. So the first thing is the grade 1. It's a sudden pain and tenderness in the back of your thighs. It also can be painful when he's moving the leg, but the strength of the muscle should be not affected. In the second part, the strength of the lower limb can be affected a little bit, and the third part, there is a painful, tender, swollen, and also here on the photo, I'm showing you the third part of the injury. And when in the third part of the injury, you're unable to use the affected leg because there is a lot of pain, and they will need an MRI and also to understand actually what happened inside. Okay, so here we are going to the tennis elbow. This type of injury is called also lateral epicondylitis, also known as tennis elbow, and it's an overuse injury. Actually, this type of injury, we can prevent it because it's an overuse, it's not acute, something like to happen immediately, and this type of injury actually happen when it's the limb is overloaded. So the tennis elbow, it's a tendinopathy and it's affected the muscle, and also here you can see the area of the pain and the inflammation, the tendon of the extensors of the wrist. Actually, this type of injury, it's happened when it's made a lot of backhand flicks and backhand topspins, and the body was not ready for this type of loading. So usually during time and practice without a plan, there is this type of injury that can happen. So yeah, here, as you see here, demo, when it's making the top spin, you can see the forearm, how it's really contracted and the muscle are showing very well. So yeah, the table tennis elbow occurs in 40 to 50 of average table tennis player. So as I explained you, this painful inflammation of the soft tissue. This is what you have to remember. Also, in this type of injury, the prevention should be very well, and there is a lot of chances to pass this type of injury because, as I tell you before, it is an overuse. So we have here 4 stages of the 4 stages on the development of this injury. So the first stage is pain, couple of hours after provoking the activity. The second stage is pain in the end of the activity. Third is pain during provoking activity, and constant pain which prohibits any activity. Also in this type of injury, the people feeling pain actually right here. In this type, they will tell you, hey coach, I feel pain right here. So this means that you have to also call a doctor and make a good rehab to prevent further types of injuries. So something we have to focus is to wait. To resume training, you must wait no longer to feel pain for at least a week. Actually, the good part of this table tennis injury is that when you have pain, they still can play a little table tennis, but they have to decrease the load, and also they can try to play more forehands, for example, receiving or service practice, just to have a feeling for the ball and to don't stop. And yeah, here I'm showing you, don't use too much elbow on your stroke, but generate the power during this type of injury. Okay, so now we are moving forward to the wrist injuries. The injuries generally are fall into 2 different categories: traumatic, again, acute injury, and overuse, aka chronic injury. So yes, here we have chronic injuries. These injuries are more common in sports that require repetitive motion. Again, if we have doing a lot of back spins, of top spins, and from backhand and forehand, and if we are accenting for the wrist movement, we have in future, if it's overloaded, we have the athlete can experience some pain, and this may cause tendonitis, the tendon inflammation, irritation, tear. Actually, it's really hard to say that may happen during the activities. Also, they can experience numbness and weakness in the hand. So stiffness and decreased range of motion is also the main part of the wrist injuries. In the morning, actually, they may feel it stiff, and they may feel and need also more time to warm it up before the practice to prevent future injuries. Yes. Also, I want to make a note that when left untreated, chronic injuries can impact an athlete's performance. This is very important note. Okay, we are moving now to the shoulder injuries. The athletes may experience pain in the shoulder, or the pain may irritate also to the elbow, but the main cause should be the shoulder. The shoulder pain that gradually develops over time. They may feel also stiffness. They may be some kind of inflammation, and also the most important is that they may experience decreased range of motion. The range of motion is very important, and we are going to talk later about this, how to increase the range of motion of all joints in case to prevent further injuries in table tennis, because the main part of our sports is that the muscles are going to become very tight because of the movement of the sport. So we are moving to the hip injuries here, and the sign and the symptoms of the hip tendonitis and tendinosis include pain also in the hip or back, hip pain that gradually develops over time, hip stiffness, decreased range of motion also, and mostly the injuries in the hip are from overuse. Some hip injuries may also come from the back pain. There could be a pain in the back, and that going down to the butt or the hip or the knee, and also in the table tennis there is a part where during the strokes the body needs to rotate, and there it's a lot of twisting that make some injury also in the back, which can irritate to the hips downwards. So it's very important here in the hip injuries to strengthen the muscles around the hips, to adequately warm up before practice, and maintaining the proper body mechanics both during your workouts and on the field can also help reduce your risk of an injury. Yeah, and I think this is enough to understand what where actually the athletes can experience pain in which sides. The most actually in the table tennis, there is injuries that can happen in the whole body, in the every joint, in the wrist, in the ankle, elbow, knee, shoulder, hip, also the back. And now we are moving forward, and we are going to talk more about how to prevent, because I think this is the most important part for you, and to understand how to prevent your athletes from the injuries, for example, to increase their performance, and what not to do to experience injuries. Okay, I showed you guys now where they can experience pain. Now we are going to talk about how to prevent them. And the most important part of this section we are going to talk about now is what to do when an athlete become from semi-professional to professional sports. Okay, so the first thing is to make a team. This is very important. They have, for example, you have to make an appointment for a full blood test, because there may be some disease that the athlete may experience. So this is the first thing that you have to do, to consult with your GP to make a full blood test. The second part, it's to make an appointment with orthopedic traumatologist. So it's very important to see how is the body, how it's if the athlete experienced for pain before, or does he has some surgeries. Just you have to make a consultation also with neurologists. There, all of these specialized I count here, they know what to do before the athletes become on the professional sports, and to start competing with the other professional players. This fourth part is to make an appointment for a physiotherapist. The physiotherapist and the strength and conditioning coach, they are going to make a plan to how to, first of all, they will check how is the body of the athlete, how he or she is moving, is there some weak muscles, what to strengthen, what to stretch, and they were going to make a plan out of the table, how to strengthen and to perform, to and to prepare the body for the table tennis. So another important appointment is to make with functional performance testing. This is actually testing for the doctors to check how it is the heart, how are the lungs, how many oxygen they can take, how is the situation with them, are they in a good performance or bad. And actually these all appointments needs to be made done in the every year in the beginning of the season. Also, something I don't want to forget is to make an appointment with a psychologist and nutritionist for personal meal plan, because the psychologists, they will strength and they will work more on the mental situation and the mental health of the athlete, and the nutritionist will make some personal meal plan for the athlete. This plan should be very and strong individual because they need to have a plan what to eat for the whole week, how many calories they are burning during the sessions, and how many uh, protein, carbohydrates, fats, water they need to take to recover the body correctly. Okay, so another serious and important role is to make a plan for at least an year. I mean, you have to plan how long you will practice, in which type of the year, in which part of the year the athlete will be in the best performance, which competition is the most important for this athlete, when to recover during the year, in which actually in which part of the year they will be have a full rest, for example 1 or 2 weeks outside from the table tennis. So as I wrote here, increase the load gradually over time. This is very important. Don't overtrain. Of course, you have to make a plan, but during the year, this plan may vary because of the situation. Sometimes the athlete may experience fatigue earlier of the plan, so you have to moderate the plan, for example, to prevent them from the injuries. Important role, don't practice when you have pain, or if somebody have experience playing pain, they should decrease the load during the session.
Dear Alexander, will you please mute? Okay, continue.
Yeah, it's okay, don't worry. So another important role, you have to ask every day the athlete, how does he or she feel, and how was the sleeping during the night? Because for example, today we have to practice we are going to be in a higher performance, and we want to practice a bit more than yesterday, and we are increasing the loading. But today the athlete is coming to you and saying, hey coach, today I don't feel okay, I didn't sleep well. So my opinion is to listen to him, because if he does not feel ready for the loading today, he may injure. So in case to prevent the injury, you have to slow down today's activity to for example, to practice a bit more services, or to practice in a lower tempo during multi-balls, or other part of the practice, in case to prevent it. yes, you also have to build a strong trust and relationship between the coach and the athlete. And also it's very important to plan the training and ask your athletes every day how they feel. It's very important. In addition, one of the best ways to prevent injuries is to allow the body to recover. Because the athletes cannot only increase the tempo and increase the loading. They also need to recover and to make a team. How your athletes have to recover, it's very important, because this is a part that cannot be replaced with in the professional sport, and also of the athletes performance and training and plan and this kind of stuff. As I wrote here, periods of heavy training or lots of play need to be followed by rest for a body to recover and to adapt and grow stronger. Okay, so in table tennis, the condition needs to involve several different types of training. The table tennis players need to increase strength, power, speed, coordination, agility, flexibility. The flexibility is very, very important part, and the endurance also. The table tennis is a sport that requires short bursts of the speed, and improving your endurance by just cycling or running in the same tempo. It's not okay for the athlete, because these types of the training, they need to be specialized around the tempo. For example, it's not okay to just go and cycling in a tempo for about 30 minutes. Actually, no, this is not an option to increase the endurance and the lung capacity of oxygen, because there are different types of the sorry, the words are not coming to my mind.
Different types of movement, maybe?
Yeah, different types of movement. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, so by the following guidelines and plans you created in the training, you can prepare your body for the demands of the table tennis and to reduce the types of the injury, and also including the overuse. As I told you before, the overuse injuries are the injuries that we can prevent. This is what I wanted to say, is that we have to control the load during the practice and the session. And this is how we can prevent the overuse injuries. The injuries that are, as I show you, the Dinkning and Wong Ching Tung. These are injury that it's really difficult and almost impossible to prevent, because they're acute and they happened just for a second. Okay, so the prevention here is, for example, a photo of different agility and plyometric exercises. With this type of training, they're increasing the the speed and the coordination also. Actually, the strength exercises and the exercises out of the table, I mean, with weights and, for example, here, some agility exercises and balance exercises. They are very good to wake up every muscle on the body and to prevent warm it up for the table tennis session. So yeah, before the athlete goes to start doing counter forehand and backhand and top spins, they need to warm up, for example, at least 20 to 30 minutes to wake up the body to make different exercises out of the table, so to every muscle fiber can warm it up and to be useful, and the nervous system also to wake up, because if, for example, if it's around 0 degrees Celsius outside and the athlete goes in the hall, he's cold, he or she needs to warm up very good, to warm up the body, the muscles, to increase the flexibility and the movement of the joint. So it's very important role to warm up before to do any top spins and from backhand and forehand. It's a very important part to prevent the injury. The most important part to prevent injuries also is to warm up before the table tennis session. Yeah, here, for example, I'm showing you the injuries in table tennis will be preventable when endurance and strength training performed prior to extensive playing activities. So here is something else I'm going to talk about. When some of the people experience joint injury, taping and bracing, it's very good to protect, and it helps to continue on practice also in the same level. I mean, if somebody injured your, for example, the knee, as I'm showing here, if and he or she experienced pain, some bracing or kinesio taping, for example, may decrease the pain sensitivity, and the athlete can continue practice, for example, on 80 or 90% without a problem, because the joint is stabilized, and this will give self-confidence to the athlete to continue on practice, and the athlete will feel much better with this type of protection, for example. So it's not always when someone is injured, it means to stop practice for a long time, or to stop playing until the pain comes back. No, if somebody is injured, there are a lot of ways to continue on practice, but for lower percentage, for example, 30, 40, it depends on the type of the injury. So something really important is to don't ignore the cramps, pain, or the fatigue, because, for example, if somebody feels pain somewhere in the body, and the athlete will say, okay, I feel pain, but I will continue on practice. No, it's better to consult with somebody with specialized, because the athletes cannot understand the athlete doesn't know what is the major problem to feel that kind of pain, because as I told you, most injuries happen when a player keeps playing after an injury. Yeah, also respect your physical limitation and don't continue on playing when you are fatigued. When you feel fatigue, just decrease the practice, the load of the practice. And yes, yeah, this is something I explained to you. Okay. People who compete or play frequently are at a high risk of overuse injuries. So many of the overuse injuries are caused by too much or too intense, too early training and playing. This is very important. You can note it somewhere because it's really important to control the load during the sessions of your practice. And also, if somebody experiences some injuries, it's really good to make a personal, individual rehab plan to strengthening the area that the athletes experience pain, so in future to prevent it. Yeah, actually this is also very important. And when a player is feeling dizzy during the high tempo, this means that he is not prepared for this tempo. For example, he may feel dizzy or he may experience sound in the ear or a serious heartbeat. So this means to slow down in prevention to not collapse, because there are people in front of my eyes I see because of the high tempo, they are not just ready and they just fell down during the practice. So also you have to make and to work with a condition personal trainer, because he will make a plan how to control the movement during the fitness session, and he will strengthen the muscles and increase the flexibility of your joint to with for example, to prevent further injuries. Here, for example, I'm showing you a little complex how to move the joints and to warm up with some basic movements before the session. Okay, now we are going to talk about how the athlete should recover, because this also is really, really important part for an athlete to continue on his professional career. So one of the biggest obstacles to improving muscle strength and increasing athlete performance is the recovery. In order here, they have to make a plan, what I told you before. This is the most important part. They need to contact with the nutritionist. They need to have for the whole day, the meal plan, what to eat, in case to stay hydrated and without um, calorie deficit, because you know when someone does not have meal plan to know when to eat between the sessions, how many times per day they may feel tired, they may not practice on 100%. So out of the table, this is a really serious part that the athletes should focus on the personal meal plan. And yeah, just very, very important. Also some supplements if it's needed, but about the supplements, they have to be consulted with specialized, for example, some doctor with who is working only with sports player, professional player, athletes, to explain to the athletes what to take, what supplements to buy, what protein, amino, um, yes, amino acids, electrolytes. It's very important to stay hydrated during the whole day. And yeah, also very important part outside of the how is the player's psychological stress. Does he has feeling fear from and stress from during the competitions? Does the athletes is feeling, for example, nervous before the competition? This is part that's outside of the how they need to talk really, really with the psychologist. It's very important outside of the how the player to manage the stress, to make timing, to take quality amount of sleep, to schedule everything, to be with a good relationship with team members, because this is very important part with the coach, friends and family. It's important to feel that somebody, for example, it is staying behind him, it's supporting him, and this will be a very good self-confidence for him. For example, also the main part here, which includes the recovery, is the quality of sleep. The quality of sleep, the one athlete, professional athlete, needs to sleep around 8 at least to 9 hours. Actually, this is strong individual, but this is according to the researchers. So the bedroom, it's good to be cool, dark and quiet. It's very important to don't watch movies or just clicking on the phone in Instagram, Facebook and other social media before bed. For example, at least 30 minutes, or if it can be more, because actually the phones are taking our energy. It's very important also to avoid caffeine after 16 o'clock, but this may vary. But it's not okay also to take caffeines and other drinks that takes energy, that gives you energy after this time. So napping during the day between the practice around 30 minutes or less, it's very important because the nervous system and all the muscles need to relax during the sleep. It's a little, we know that, the nap, but according to the researches, it's written that it improves the strength and the endurance during the second training. And very important thing also, during the training day, between the practices, if there are 2 or 3, the athlete needs to recover. And for example, to stay away when he's recovering, I'm not saying that he may lay down and just clicking and tapping on the phone. It's okay to use it, but we know how that our um, in our time it's too difficult to stay away from it. But this is something that it takes from our energy, and it's really good for the athlete to understand this. Okay, another type of recovering for the athlete is the immersion. So according to the researchers, it's good to go for for example, in cold water and then in the hot water to repeat it and to jump from one to another for around 15 to at least 15. I mean, not more. But when you start doing this, for example, when you jump in the cold water, you have to dip slowly, because it's very important. It's kind of shock, imagine, because the degrees of the water are very low and it's not comfortable. But this helps to for the cardiovascular systems to put the blood back to the heart. Here, as you see, this guy is in the ice, and it's really tough actually in the beginning, but the body can adapt with everything. So if you put it on the small bites, it will be very, very good. And also this should be considered with the specialists in the first therapies. When you're doing the first and the second time, somebody have to explain how to do this, not just put some cold and hot bath and just to jump from one to another. Very important role is also for the athlete players is the massage. It's okay to do 1 or 2 times per week, because actually it can be more, but when it's more in the long term, they may not feel the positivities from the massage. For example, if the massage is doing every day, in some time they will just stop to feel the good things from the massage. These portable recovery boots are very, very good for the lymphatic system and also for the blood to put it back on through the heart. Okay, now we're going to the active recovery. Here, this is the last topic what we are going to discuss, and some cycling, jogging, and swimming could be very, very good for the athletes to do it once or twice during the week. because this helps for the athlete after the train to recover better, because when you have muscle acid, it doesn't mean that you have to stop moving. For example, it's much better to move more for, mm, for so it can the body sorry, just in not coming to my mind. For example, the muscle acid should recover itself better when you are moving more. This is what I wanted to say. And remember that it's very, very important for the athletes during the rest days, if they want to experience some other sport, and if the player it's not in the competition period, the athlete may go to play some other sports. It's not forbidden, just to try to stay active as much as you can, because this will be some different, and he may experience joy, and this active recovery should be really helpful. So because a lot of practicing table tennis, sometimes the athlete is kind of how can I say, pissed off, and he wants to do something else. So this also can vary, and it's very, very important. And yes, actually that was my presentation. So I'm glad if you are understand, and I was clear. You can also text me on the context I put in the first slide. So I'm open for any questions now, and also anytime you can text me via email or WhatsApp. I'm ready to help you. It doesn't matter that we cannot see each other in a live, but you're always you always can text me. I'm ready to help you with what I can. So okay, hope you like my presentation. So hope everything was clear, and that I help you to understand that the most part of the injury that may happen to the athletes are that one we can't prevent. So try, guys, to prevent the injuries. Always be in touch with the athletes, and this will make you a high goals and stay healthy. Okay, so I'm ready for your questions. If you
at this point, I'll take the word.
yeah, Samet, you have the word. Thank you so much.
Dear Sveto, I'd like to thank you very much on behalf of all participants in our webinar. How to say, the visuals were fine, and in general, we were actually, at least I can say for myself, it was really a nice presentation. And dear friends, now we can receive some questions from you. Please, if you have any question, just write to chat part, and I will ask to Sveto this. But firstly, I have actually two questions, Sveto. If our friends don't mind, I want to begin with questions.
Sure, okay.
So I'll check the chat first, okay.
Okay, so just a second.
For example, we are some table tennis coaches, and we are having a heavy training with some players. Then we see that a player is holding her or his leg and says, "Oh, it hurts," and so on. So how can a coach can understand if this is a cramp or this is kind of injury in the leg?
Well, actually, thank you for the question. This is a very tiny situation that the coach should first have a really good knowledge to prevent and to understand what kind of injury is this, because actually the cramp is when the pain is in the muscle, and this is the very important part, because when it's the cramp, so the athlete may not step on the leg. He may experience some pain and he is not feeling comfortable. But if the coach is not it's not sure what kind of injury is this, it's better to call a physiotherapist or a doctor.
Mhm. And we are, I also have another question, but I'm checking the chat part. So I'd like to ask all our participants, if you have questions, please write to chat part. And I think while waiting for some questions, I have a second question.
Yeah, sure. I'm listening to.
Once upon a time, we had a player, Melek Hu in Turkey.
Yeah,
I remember that she had problem with tennis elbow.
tennis table. Yeah.
She had some surgery, operations, and so on. So, what do you think about how to say? Does surgery, operation, solve problem of tennis elbow at all? Does it make it all right, or is it is there any risk to have elbow again after surgery?
Yeah, sure. So the main part here is the operation from the surgeon. It may finish the how to say, finish the problem. Yeah, to but to solve it. But the main part after the surgery is the part of the and work of the physiotherapist and the rehab. They have to make a strong individual rehab program for the athletes, and to strengthen the muscles around the area, to continue overloading the area in case to prevent other injuries. But yeah, almost any injury can be solved. And in the good rehabilitation, I think that they may uh, prevent experience future injury. Was it clear?
Yeah, for me it's fine. Thank you. How do you
Okay.
see Благодаря?
Yeah, благодаря. Um,
There's a question. Just let me check it. From Nesihan Kavas, our Paralympic champion. In which cases should we avoid applying hot and cold? Is there any general rule for this?
For example, this is a strong individual part. I mean that some players, some athletes may not feel well during the hot tub or the ice bath. For example, in this case, they should stay in the ice bath for at least 30 seconds or 1 minute, and continually increasing the time staying in that bath. But this also may vary during the session. For example, it's if the athlete doesn't feel good when it's taking the hot water, because he may feel so soft and not concentrated and a lot more relaxed. This may change, and they just may stop using this because the athlete doesn't feel okay. It's very important for I actually put all of these recovery types, but they may vary in the athlete, and some of them, if the athlete does not feel okay, just don't do it.
Mhm.
just check what it's working best for the athlete. This is the most important part.
Just a second, please. I'm checking for any other question. Just a minute. I think Neslihan Kavas from Turkey has a question, dear Sveto. It's something
Yeah.
similar to this, but how to say? You know, in which cases should we apply? Should we try how to say applying something hot and applying cold in case of an injury? How to apply?
Yeah, in case of some injuries, okay. For example, when you have ankle sprain or knee sprain, in this type of injury, we have some edema. You know, the color of the skin is changing. Most of the time, it's going blue, and in this type type of injury, it's good to put some cold because the cold it's putting how to say the cardiovascular system more tight, and this cold it's putting away the edema. You know what I mean? And for example, in the muscle strains, it depends actually how it will work for how it will work better for the athlete. But if you have sprains, for example, ankle, knee, or wrist, it's better to put in the first day some cold, some ice.
So thank you for the nice answer, and thank you for the question, Mrs. Kavas. Mrs. Kavas was chosen as the female Paralympic star of ITTF 4 years ago.
Nice.
And I think we have a physio with us tonight, and I wonder if she will have any question.
Oh, that's good. we have a colleague of mine.
I wonder if she will have a question. I'm just checking the screen. Still, let me check. I think.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
No, I don't have any questions, but congratulations because you tell everything very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And if you come Turkey, I want to meet you.
He'll first call me.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. I will call you both. I promise.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
So I think we are at the end of our session, and I'd like to thank Balkan family to come together this evening, and we will have another webinar on next Monday with Adrian Christian, Olympic quarter finalist, about serving and receiving. And on 8th of the March, we will have another lecturer, Mr. Babur Üstündağ, about core exercises. So for today, I'd like to thank you a lot, Kardeş.
Thank you so much.
We are really happy to welcome you here. And thanks to all participants who came here. So I hope everyone a good evening, and thank you once again. Maybe if you have some last words.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I was clear. Hope you understand everything from the lecture. And also, as I told you, you can contact me if you have any questions anytime. I'm open to help you to work for better performance of our athletes here on the Balkans and Europe. And
Yeah, here you can see how to contact Sveto, dear friends.
Yeah, here is my email and also the Facebook page. Thank you for that, Samet.
You're welcome. So,
yeah, okay. So that was for me. I wish you a good night and stay healthy and work hard.
Good night. See you.
Good night. Bye-bye.